it was never about marketing or like branding or like anything like that. Like we just wanted to make cool stuff, and it was fun to make,
Yeah.
So it was just like that. We weren't thinking about like anything.
This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show. This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is sponsored by Wise Guy Media, a new company dedicated to showcasing the talents and offerings of their customers through podcasting, eye-catching graphics, logo, and customized web design. Established in 2015, Wise Guy Media is continuing to push the elements of web and logo design with outside-of-the-box ideas and up-to-date graphic-generating programs. Whether you want to launch your own podcast, need a website, or a new logo for your brand, they have all your needs covered to promote yourself and get your brand recognized in your industry. To see what they've been up to, check out their site, www.sonyourmedia.com/wiseguy, for a sample of what they've been doing to help get this podcast off the ground. That's www.sonyurmedia.com/wiseguy. Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, Episode 2. Really fired up to bring you guys this week's episodes. It's going to be a crazy busy week for myself. Right now, if you can probably hear a little background noise, I'm actually driving right now to the happiest place on earth to help cover a couple shifts for this week for somebody that's on vacation. And being seasonal for the Arribas Brothers, I basically am on an as-needed basis, which is awesome, because then I can go in when they need me, and if also I'm available. And this week I'm available for a couple days, and I've been jonesing to go there and be on stage and perform and be amongst the people. So I definitely had to say yes to this week's opportunity. So I'm on my way right now, and I do apologize if there's any kind of sudden loud noises or weird static or anything like that. I'm going to try to keep this as clean as possible. But I just want to thank you guys for tuning in today and for the support and the feedback that I've been given. It's been really amazing to hear the responses that I've already gotten just in the 1 week's episodes and the trial that I've gone through to really get this show up and running. So thank you for all the love that you guys have been giving me. It's been pretty awesome. Just as a reminder as well, speaking of all the love, after you guys listen to the show, if you can go to iTunes, and I found that the Wise Guy Radio Show search part, it's got to be Wise Guy Radio, all one word. But if you can go search the show, if you haven't already subscribed, and then you can also rate and leave a comment. And the higher the ratings and the more comments the show gets, the more visibility that iTunes gives it, which then puts it up higher in the ranks. And then folks that are not necessarily looking for a show about glassblowing may stumble across this and become introduced into what it is that we all love so much in this community. So if you guys can do that, I do appreciate it, and thank you so much. Today's guest that we have is Dan Coyle, also known as Coyle Condenser. Dan's a pretty badass guy. I love his work. He's been an influence in my work over the years as I've watched him come up and grow and make a huge impact in our industry. Dan's got a very animated, life-like, whimsical style to his work. A lot of times when I do see his work in person, I'm just waiting for it to jump off the shelf. It's pretty amazing when you see collabs that he does where the other artists that he works with, the work is amazing, and then once Dan's work has come to add to it, it completely changes the piece and brings it to life. It's mind-blowing, and I felt just kind of that I had to bring him on here to share his story with you guys. And our conversation was short and sweet. Dan's a very busy man, so I didn't want to hold up too much, and also I kind of have a simple format that I use questions for this show, and the direction of the interview didn't really go the same direction that my format is set, which is cool because it allowed me to evolve a little bit, and I was somewhat unprepared, which I'm usually pretty much prepared for a lot of this stuff. So it didn't catch me off guard, but I definitely had to evolve the show to Dan, and which is awesome because his perspective in what we do is mostly art-based. Dan seems like his perspective is, I want to do this because it's fun, because I'm an artist and I can express myself through this work. I'm not worried about marketing, I'm not worried about sales, I'm not worried about the money that I'm making necessarily, but I do worry about whether I'm having fun or not. And I love it because to me, if you're not having fun, if you're not passionate about what you do, if you don't look forward to rolling out of bed every day and going to do what you do, whatever it is, whether you're an accountant or a secretary or a lawyer or a doctor or a glass artist, if you're not jumping out of bed, whether you're tired or not, and looking forward to your day, then you need to move on and find whatever else is in your life that makes you that happy. And I find that Dan has that personality to where he does enjoy what he does. And it was very fun and humbling to hear. So in this interview, we do get into a little bit of the business talk, but mostly on the side of just Dan's background and what his influences are. And, kind of go from there with it. And this week itself, I will be out of town for a couple days. I'm going to try my hardest to get 2 more episodes out for Wednesday and Friday as well. My anniversary is this week, and so I'm going to try to get everything done before Wednesday, so that way you guys have some content on Wednesday and Friday. So that being said, I hope you guys really do enjoy this show. Please leave any comments that you may have. I love the feedback and the responses. Anything you guys can feel that I could change or do a little differently, and whatever you guys want to do, I do greatly appreciate it. Much love. I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy the show. Take care. My guest today is one of the top artists in the functional glass scene. With his animated styles and constant evolving character development, his work continues to push the boundaries of the glass medium. Having worked besides the likes of Mataskuki, Lauren Stump, and Yushin, just to name a few, it's an honor to have Dan Coyle, a.k.a. Coyle Condenser, on the show today. What's going on, Coyle? How you doing, brother?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good, man. And like I said, I've been here in my shop today recording this, and it's like 95 degrees out, and my studio is probably 120 in here right now. So, besides that, man. Besides that, yeah, it is. But it's worth it, man. It's good stuff. So,
as long as you're having fun.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, brother. So, the sole purpose of the show is to kind of, through you and the other artists we're bringing on, is to give your background and your kind of, struggles and your past in a sense and what you're doing now to inspire and educate and, as also entertain the people listening, kind of give them ideas of what you've been through, and hopefully they can learn from your mistakes and things you've done new. And in my mind, kind of as I met you guys at the class that we took, which is awesome. I've looked up to your work for several years, so it's an honor to be able to sit here and talk to you, man. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day.
Word, man. No worries.
Hell yeah. So give us a little bit of background, bro. What got you initially started in the glass scene? I know you went to school to Salem, but were you doing any kind of glass before you went to school?
Yeah. So I went. I started with Jerry Kelly because I went to a fish show, like one of the festivals, either it or Coventry, and I went with my buddy and his older brother's crew, and it just so happened that Jerry was friends with all them, so I left my guitar in his truck and had to go to his studio to pick it up, and when I came into his studio, I was like, I want to try that out, and then he gave me a little class on how to make mustard marbles, and I blew all my savings trying to blow glass, and then had to stop for a second. Then I went to school, so I only had 4 months experience before I went to Salem.
Okay, heck yeah, it's amazing, man. Once you first get started, it's like you get that bite, and it just becomes immediately addictive.
Yeah, it was fun. It's an expensive hobby,
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I went to the school, because I still wanted to do it, and I knew that you could get scientific glass jobs, or I'd heard about that. So, and same thing as you. You worked at Disney, right? So,
yeah,
had a regular 9 to 5 where you were still using the material for a living. So it's always practice,
Yeah, it's a pretty cool opportunity when you can get paid to learn like that.
Yeah.
Especially it seems like the scientific realm, especially where our industry goes with the whole functional glass, where things have really gone scientific, including in your work, besides the sculptural fun stuff you're doing, there's a lot of science involved and glass blowing in general, but the whole scientific side of glass blowing, it's pretty prevalent right now in the industry, which I enjoy immensely.
Yeah, it's cool.
So you did a little job there for 5 years? You did the scientific job?
Yeah, from like 2006 to 2011.
Okay.
But I had like my home studio, and I would do glass for fun on the side, because I didn't need a paycheck, so I'd pretty much make whatever I want, and either give it away to friends or try to sling it at like galleries or head shops. But for the most part, just like selling to my friends and stuff.
Nice. So when do you really feel like you're at where you are now, like where that adventure began? Like, because I'm blown away by the value of what people are paying now for glass, and you and the guys that are in Crushmore and out west and Everdream and all, you guys are all in your own kind of class of like the baller status in a sense, if you want to call it that, in terms of what you're able to get for your work. I mean, what point did you come across where like you're doing production spoons or whatever that was you're making to where then you got into your character work and developed that line and then are getting...
I don't know. I mean, it all happened when I moved to Philly initially in 2011 and moved into a studio that Jerem built called Future Labs in Southville.
Okay.
And Elbow had just started working there after he got done with his apprenticeship to Zach Pukowitz.
Okay.
So I like met Elbow there, and then he influenced me a lot into like switching up my style. But yeah, sorry, what was the question again?
It's all good, man. Like just in terms of like going from the production glass to like the monkeys and the bears and your style, because I really find like in the industry, in order to really get your name out there in terms of like the marketing business side of what we're doing, the merchandising, everything else, it really helps. I mean, I more than helps. It really makes a difference if you have a specific character line, or So, like, I guess at what point in time did you transition, or did you find like what influences?
Well,
I guess
it was never about marketing or like branding or like anything like that. But we just wanted to make cool stuff, and it was fun to make.
Yeah.
So it was just like that. We weren't thinking about like anything.
Yeah, it's kind of organically happened.
It's like it's just like it's hard to come up with your own stuff for some people, and other people like have a million ideas they want to try. So
yeah, did you have the million ideas, or were you influenced from like people coming to you with their ideas for like custom work or something like that?
Pretty much my own stuff. I never really did custom work, but I would just make a few different designs, and then whatever would sell, I'd probably continue making that, and still make up new ideas. But yeah.
Nice. So where did the monkeys and the bears, like those characters, and like, do you have any kind of like childhood influences that came from, or just kind of just fun thing?
Well, monkeys were just always my favorite animal. So like I used to draw monkeys a lot when I was younger, and I hadn't really done any of the sculpting stuff except to like try to do eyes and random stuff, kind of Salt-esque,
Mm-hmm.
So when I really wanted to try to make a sculpture, I wanted to try to do a monkey,
Heck yeah.
Before that, I was focusing a lot on pattern work, like line work and all that fun stuff.
Nice. So I guess like in terms of where you're at now, you just had your show out in Colorado, the Ape Shit show. So like in terms of being an artist, like getting say if I wanted to go have a solo show, like how does the approach from yourself go about having a solo show? Like, did you go out there and approach a gallery yourself and say, hey, I'm interested in doing this? Or are they approaching you saying, hey, we're interested?
They approached me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they approached me, I've done a few of them, like, way back in, like, 2013 maybe, or 2012. I did a show at Goosefire.
Okay.
Called Coyle Condensed. And that was back before there was, like, a ton of gallery shows going on. So that one was pretty big, But the Ape Shit show is just Jason Burris, who's, like, my homie. And they're trying to do the Illuminatorium is their gallery.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to do, like, a show every 2 weeks. So they, like, hit me up to do that one. And, it just so happened that it fell on like 420 week in Colorado. So I figured a lot of people would be out there. So we decided to just like throw like an epic party. So it was more of like a party than a gallery show, but it was all like themed out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Nice. And you're still out in Philly, right?
So that's like, yeah. But that's kind of what I think about when trying to do a show, is make it like a good experience for like everybody that comes out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because then like the glass can still be there for like 2 or 3 weeks or a month afterwards as a gallery showing. But to have that initial big blast for the opening is definitely the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point in your career, did you feel you needed to have an assistant? Because I know, like, with Kohlberger being your assistant now, when did she come aboard, and what at one point did you feel you needed something like that?
I just felt like I needed it when I was just because I could stand the torch more. Like your time sometimes in the studio is spent better on a torch than in front of a computer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's like emails, like sales stuff, and
yeah, we wear a lot of hats.
And then there's also a lot of extra stuff like that an assistant can just help out with. If your time's more valuable on the torch, maybe you don't need to drive like 40 minutes round trip to go pick up something at Home Depot or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And that's how she got going with you, was kind of helping run errands and what have you, and then she evolved into the glass.
Yeah, and then I taught her how to do some glass work, and paid her per piece. And she helped me out a lot just doing prep work,
Nice.
Like fritting up stuff for taking my iMurini that I make and then turning it into a lens eyeball.
Okay.
To use. Those are all things that like take me, like maybe 10 minutes, but to have it all done up ahead of time is pretty useful.
Yeah, it's huge, bro, for sure.
More recently, I just put her more on kind of handling the more business end of stuff and, trying to get her on board with like icecoldglass.com.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I'll have your website in the show notes page for a link, because like myself personally, I went there I guess a month ago and bought a couple discs, and
oh, tight.
Yeah, dude, like I use them once a week now. I gave my son one of them, and he's all about it. And when I was on there looking at it, because like I think about all the different ways that as an artist, once you get a brand for yourself, all the different merchandise you can have. And because the disc golf and coincides somewhat with our community and what we do in the industry, it goes hand in hand. And I was like, damn, that's genius having a disc with, your logo on there, bro. So big ups to you.
Yeah,
on that.
Well, that was actually a different head shop. I can't recall their name, but they were like a frisbee golf supplier / head shop, and they approached me to like do a disc collab or whatnot. And that's what a lot of the swag is that I have on the site, is just companies that approach me to do stuff, like the Mood Mat guys.
Heck yeah. So do you get like a royalty of some sort from that sale and all that kind of stuff?
Usually they just like hook me up with like the free product to either give away or hustle or whatever.
Okay.
Like say they do a run of like 100, they might give me 10 or something like that.
Okay.
But in all reality, I just do it because it's a cool thing,
Yeah, dude, I agree.
I used to just like my whole sticker thing was, I looked at the stickers as another like art form sort of, so I like never really put my name or advertise like on it. But I just kept on making new and new sticker designs and always like giving them away, just because I thought they were cool. So then some of the swag stuff like kind of ties in there as well.
Yeah, man, it works
like
well.
Another like cool thing that you can have made,
Yeah, for sure. Because like I look at the art side and the business side, and at the art side, I agree. It's like it's cool to have a logo or your designs and stickers that you can just slap wherever and have fun with it. But then if someone out there in the public sees it and they know your work, they recognize your design, or like, oh, that's Coyle stuff. So it's, I think in terms of the art side, it's awesome, but also in the marketing side of things, it's even more so of like brand recognition. It's like when you see like a yellow and red freaking colors, you think about McDonald's, as much as that sucks, but it's like, they've embedded that into our brain.
Yeah, I just personally don't even like that side of it. I think it's just like, people like the glass, and it's like, that should be like the main focus, is like the work that you're making out of,
Yeah, for sure.
out of that material. And then all this other stuff is like extra that, if you put too much time focusing on like, oh, is this like branding, or is this like, I don't know, marketing or whatever, I feel like that's kind of taking away from creative side.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I know like myself personally with like my Wise Guy line that I'm doing with the owls, and it started organically from a small owl I made at Disney, and then I put a picture on Instagram, and someone's like, "Hey, can you make that into a rig?" And I'd never done it before, so I did, and then I got a great response from it. And so the more that they came, the now this little owl is kind of my thing that I'm doing, and
That's tight, man.
And it's kind of like become now I've got this brand of the Wise Guy brand, and I've now got Wise Guy Media where I'm doing now the Wise Guy Radio Show podcast. And so, I'm looking at it the same way because as an artist myself, it's like this conflict that I have of like, okay, I just want to stay behind my torch and be creative, but all the hats we got to wear, like for your shipping and stuff, for instance, does Nicole do all your shipping for you as well? Like, does she do pack your orders and ships? And does your social media, like all that kind of crap? Like she does all?
No, she doesn't handle any social media, just like emails and packing and shipping.
Okay.
So.
Nice. In terms
sales.
Because part of the show too is to like, besides the glass, and we have to look at our future, so like in 30 years or 40 years from now, in terms of retiring, even though I'm never going to retire, I'm always going to be blowing glass. I'll probably die with my torch in my hand. But, I'm still got to look at my future, for my kids, for myself, for my wife, what have you. So do you have any kind of like, any kind of retirement set up for yourself, like a 401k of any kind of thing going, any kind of personal investments that you're doing for yourself?
No, not at the moment, no, but it's definitely a good thing to think about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it's something I never really thought about until I started listening to some more business shows and then thinking about, hearing stories of people that are older, that are more or less eating dog food because they can't afford to go buy food from the store because their meds are too expensive, like that kind of shit. And it's like I hear that kind of stuff and it's like, oh my God, the reality of, I'd like to be a professional glass artist my whole life, but I also got to think about the future, as we all like to. I mean, it's easy just to go by day, but like I said, part of my goal with this show is to help people think.
Working for yourself, if I was like really concerned about all that, I probably would just like keep a 9-to-5 job and then do the art class on the side,
Yeah.
And not make it the primary source of income because art's like not a very secure market or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Downs. Yeah, but like there are ways like through banking, through mobile banking, whatever. Even you can set up a checking account to have like $50 a month automatically get out of your account to go into like a 401k, or it's called a SEP. It's a self-employment pension plan basically, and they also work well for tax shelters. So if you're making all this cash and if you're not spending a lot of money that year necessarily on equipment, but we all do anyways. But that being said, it's nice to have to be able to put a little bit away as a tax shelter, but also because it adds up over time with interest. And, who the hell knows 30 years from now if we're even all going to be here, with the way things are going. But, I still wanted to ask you, bro, because like I said, I look up to your work and as an artist, and I kind of wanted to pick your brain in those areas.
Well, I have a very good accountant, and you could probably ask him like all that tax business stuff.
Cool. Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you too, if you had an accountant. Yeah, because I'm the same way. I've got an accountant because that's all Chinese to me. It's like I just let them take care of it. Makes it a lot easier, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of the industry, bro, do you have any thoughts of what you see our industry evolving into as laws change in this country? In terms of the evolution of where we're heading.
I'm sorry, what? What was the question?
I'm asking if, like, in terms of, like, what do you see our, like, say, like, in 5 years from now or 10 years from now, like, where do you see our industry, as the laws change and makes it easier for,
I don't know, man. If you asked me that 5 years ago, about today, I would have had a completely different idea, so.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I think it could only get bigger,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. Because, like, a lot of people, that I talk to out there think, in terms of the pricing of things and wherever, that it's this bubble that's going to bust one day. And I look at it as this bubble is going to continue to grow and, and keep going and keep going and keep going. I mean, shit, somebody's going to get $1 million for a pipe here pretty soon. I know there was an article written about it, last year or whatever, but like in terms of like where we're heading to and the people that are out there that are collecting the work, it's pretty spectacular to see as an artist to be able to get the money you can get for your work now being alive. And compared to where they're, the old artists, where they're, you have to be dead to get the money you're getting.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
it's pretty like crazy scene out there, and I don't even know like what to even say really about it, except for it's like pretty great, and I'm just glad that people can appreciate the work nowadays. And there's people doing like big things and putting a lot of time into work with glass and actually getting paid like right for it. So
Yeah, I agree.
It's a good time, and not necessarily a bubble. I don't think at all, because there's always going to be a broad variety of work available. Like from low price to high price.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely a market.
So there's already a huge variety, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Well, I got a couple questions from you from social media point here. So a couple of people are asking some similar questions. One of them is, what was the last book you read?
Last book I read? I think it was some Charles Bukowski book, like one of the earlier ones, like Ham on Rye.
Okay. I'm not familiar, but I would definitely look that up.
He's like an alcoholic writer from back in the day that, I don't know. Yeah, look him up. He's an interesting character.
Okay, hell yeah. Someone else asked, who are your heroes and inspirations?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a big one, right? Like any kind of like philosophical stuff?
Shannon Hoon is a big one.
Okay.
I think Basquiat. Banjo. Lawrence Stump. Jimi Hendrix.
Hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Jim Morrison. Could keep going on.
Yeah, bro. No, I hear you. No, I totally. It's kind of an open-ended question there. So, well, cool, man. Well, I know you got a full packed day ahead of yourself here, so I guess we can kind of move forward here. And I have what I'm calling the lightning round right now. I haven't found a name for it yet. I'm trying to find like a glass cliche kind of name I can use for the lightning round. But for right now, we're gonna go with the lightning round. Quick answers, 30 to 60-second answers. Just kind of a fun little thing here. So the first question is, if you could work with any living glass artist that you haven't worked with before, who is it and why?
William Morris, because he was a G.
Agree. Yeah, the dude's badass. Absolutely. If you could describe the sound of glass cracking in one word, what is it?
Think.
Perfect. Your top 5 favorite colors?
Chocolate crayon, silver strike, agua azul, mint, and black.
Cool.
Any of them.
Hell yeah. What's the worst injury you've ever had?
I had a piece of 8mm or 9mm tubing go through the side of my hand.
Fun. I guess I'm assuming required stitches.
Yeah, it was like 9 stitches, and I lost feeling in part of my pinky.
Jeez. Nothing major burns yet, or anything like that?
Yeah, I've gotten burned pretty bad, but I'd say the cut was probably worse.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. If you could give your beginning glass-blowing self any advice, what would it be?
To take more time off.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I know, bro, after 16 years, it's definitely catching up with me, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2 more here for you. If you were stranded on an island that had a glass studio on it and was only supplied with gases and a kiln, what 5 items would you bring?
A G6 airplane,
Okay.
And
I love it.
Probably a gun, and my kabuki, and a paddle, and tweezers. I think that was 5.
Hell yeah. And I guess with the sand and shit, you could probably make melt the sand down and use that to work with.
Oh, hell yeah.
Be awesome. Plenty of it.
Well, I'd just get them to like look at, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd get on the plane and fly away.
Hell yeah. Love it, dude. So, what is your vision? Well, I guess I already asked you this. The vision of the industry in the next 5 to 10 years. So, we'll just skip that guy. And for the last question, any short parting piece of advice you can give anybody new in the industry?
Just keep having fun.
Hell yeah. Love it, brother. Well, hey, man, I know you got things to do, so I will let you get back to what you're doing. And again, brother, I really appreciate you coming on board here and taking some time out of your day to let me pick your brain. And I guess, honestly, one last question I want to ask you, which was my favorite question on the Instagram post, was someone had asked, when will you and I get together to do a collab?
Whoa.
That's what I said. I was like, oh, shit.
I'm focusing on more solo work these days.
Good. Yeah, I like to hear that because I know the collab, thing out there is, I love to see it, but I also really appreciate individual work, solo work-wise.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear you saying that, bro, because, I've had fun seeing your journey and seeing your collabs and stuff, but just hear the fact that you're doing that makes me happy. So keep kicking ass, brother.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I do appreciate it.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Stay in touch.
Yeah, we'll do it, and enjoy that weather up there because we are hot as shit down here right now.
We'll do, man.
All right, man.
Fucking keep killing it.
Yeah, brother. Take it easy. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or remarks, please leave them in the show notes page area where it says comments. We'll see you soon. Have a wise night.